62 was the number they gave Trevor Lawrence for being a top 100 guy in the league last year. But it didn't just start on Sundays. It started on training camp and on that practice field. And you got some guys on this team this year that want to leave their mark on this team and let it be known that they're a good player as well.
But I'm terrific, I'm finessing in that kitchen, dead Fisher. Dope yellow collar, something like or Indiana Pacers or Reggie Miller. I'm in that bit like a man.
So the guys on this list, man, are guys that's coming in, I feel like have a big chip on their shoulder coming into training camp. These are guys that, you know, got traded to the team, guys have injuries, guys coming into their last year of their contract. And I think when you look at these collective of players, I think these guys have a lot to say and have the most to prove going into training camp to leave their imprint on this Jacksonville Jaguars organization. So let's get right into it. And we're going to start on the defensive side of things. And the first game that comes to my mind is Christian Braswell. Christian Braswell was a guy that they believed in, they kept around. And they believe in his potential. And I think he's recently just been moved to safety now. Christian Braswell is a guy that they're hoping and banking on that can be a key piece of this defense. And I think, you know, from his play in OTAs this year, that he's going to come out and be a great piece to this defense situationally for Anthony Pinelli. So it all depends on if he can just stay on the field, man. Injuries would help him back. But the organization and the team feels like, you know, he can be a guy that can be an impact on this team. The next guy we want to talk about on the defense is Rook Orojo. Now, this guy came from Atlanta. We traded him for Mason Smith. Now, I think this was problem in my opinion. When you look at Mason Smith, this guy has the potential. And Rook Orojo was a guy that I think Atlanta felt like they had some potential as well. Both players, you know, need to go into new situations to reprove themselves. And I think Rook Orojo is going to be a guy that comes in and be a great piece to the defense. When you see him for his size, he has speed and power. The perfect combination for a defensive tackle, man. He can be a run stuffer as well as he can go get after the quarterback. And I think when you look at Rook Orojo, man, this guy has a lot to prove to show guys that, hey, man, you know, Atlanta, they didn't do right by me, but I'm going to go to the Jaguars and come and show that, hey, I can be a dominant player. So, again, though, with Rook Orojo, though, it's all going to come down to can his skill set actually fit this defense? But I think, you know, this organization has put a lot of, you know, thought and a lot of, you know, time to know that this guy can actually fit the scheme that they want to run. So, y'all excuse me, man. The wind blowing outside. I'm doing this video, man, but it's all good. Another guy, Ventrell Miller. Now, you know, you got a lot of experts out here that are saying, like, you know, man, you know, the Jaguars defense going to take a step back. You know, Devin Lloyd, you know, he was a big piece of why they were so good last year. But you got like a guy like Ventrell Miller who every time he's been on the field has made plays and has been an impact. Now, you know, he's battled through a lot of injuries as well. But now that he's waited his turn, he's waited his time, I think he's ready to show that he can be just as good as Devin Lloyd, man. I think he can come in and fill this role, man. I'm going to give him the lean. Now, I know the Jaguars haven't said he's the starter yet, but I'm leaning towards his experience, being that he's a 4-year vet. A lot of these younger linebackers they have, like Jack Kaiser, I think McLeod as well, these guys, they only been on the roster that long, so I'm giving him the nod that he gets it. And I think, you know, Ventrell Miller can be a great starter, man. Like I said, when we watched him playing on the Doug Peterson, he made plays, man. And, I mean, he always been on the field. He's been an impact player for Florida, man. I thought this was a great pick. I think Ventrell Miller gets the nod, and he's going to show a lot of people that, hey, man, he's great as well. Now, another guy that, you know, honorable mention not on the defense is Eric Armstead. Now, his name been thrown in a lot of trade rumors, you know, that he may get traded before the training camp, or he may not be around. He might be a trade piece. But, again, you got to understand with Eric Armstead, man, this guy was our leading guy on the defensive line last year, leading the team with 5 sacks. And if you can get that type of production again from Eric Armstead with the guys around him, Trayvon, Josh Allen, all these guys raising their game up, or, you know, at least playing to the standard that we know them to play, this Jacksonville Jaguar defense can be something to be messed with, man. I mean, you know, getting the sacks on the quarterback, man, that's all we needed last year. And hey, you know, that could have been a different outcome in that Bills game. But hey, you know, new season, we ain't looking back. But I say all that to say is, you know, if you can get that production from Eric Armstead, man, I think it's worth a look. Maybe need to re-sign him. Maybe some team friendly deal to get him here, to keep him here in the last year of his deal, man. But you know, to each his own. Now, the last guy I want to talk about is Caleb Ramshaw. And I meant to say Caleb Ramshaw wouldn't change the safety, not Christian Braswell. I apologize for early on. He's still a corner. Caleb Ramshaw wouldn't change the safety. Now, he was another guy we drafted, injuries as well, you know, couldn't stay on the field, but they like this kid, man. And I think he's coming in this year. He had outstanding OTAs, making plays all over the field. I think this guy is going to come in and, again, leave his imprint on this team as well. Now, you got a very highly competitive secondary room right now, man. From the corners back, it's going to be competing, and in the safety now, man, because Antonio Johnson, guys like, you know, that younger guys that are in that safety room. And then you look in the cornerback room, you got guys like Martarik Brown, who we just re-signed, you know, as well as Christian Braswell and others. So this is a very competitive secondary. So, I mean, we're going to see where he landed at. But I think, you know, I believe that After Campanelli got these guys. And even though these guys all can't be starters, I do feel like he has packages where these guys are going to be key in, you know, that can really trick the offense. And I think, you know, between Braswell, Ramshaw, and some of these younger guys, Jaron Jones, all these guys are going to get a little burn, man. It's going to be a unit of like, but basically how the running back room is going to be running back by committee. It's going to be, you know, secondary by committee, in my opinion. They got so much talent in that room. But Caleb Ramshaw, man, another guy that I think is going to make his name this year on the defense. So moving on to the offense, let's talk about some guys, man. And the first guy I want to talk about is offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland. He's coming to the last year of his deal, and I think, you know, he has a lot to prove, man. Now, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, trades can be done in training camp. You try to get value from a guy, whatever. You know, you're not going to re-sign him next year. However, I don't know. But I think Ezra Cleveland has a lot to say this year. You know, coming into the last year of his deal, man. He's been a solid piece for this Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman. I kind of feel like we might have gave up a little bit too much for him in that deal with the Vikings, but hey, it is what it is. You can't do what we do. We got to work what we got. So that's going to be another interesting piece with this guy, Ezra Cleveland. Now, two guys that I do think they're going to be, it's like 1A, 1B as far as have something to compute is in the running back room, man. Tootin and Allen, man. Both of these guys are two guys that's been on roster the same amount of time. And you got outsiders saying that guys like Trish Rodriguez might be the upcoming starter. And I think, you know, one of these guys are going to rise above the cream of the crop and going to be the starter for this room. Now, I do think both of these guys are going to play a critical role in the offense. Like I said about the cornerback room earlier, defensive back room it's going to be the running back by committee. And I think Liam Cohen is going to be able to scheme up things what each one of these guys do well in the running back room to make, you know, the offense efficient. But I think in training camp, you got to separate somebody that's going to be the lead dog. And I think it's going to be between one of these guys. And I do think that, you know, Trish Rodriguez, Amir Abdul, all these guys are going to be key guys in the running game. But I think one of the guys that we drafted last year is going to be the guys that's going to take the ball. And they're going to show it in training camp, man. Now, Liam Cohen did say early on in the OTAs that was the one room that he had to wait and see into training camp to see a true evaluation. So this is probably going to be one of the more competitive battles going into training camp this year. And I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. And hey, man, we're going to see what how this team look going into training camp, man. I'm excited, man. I will be at the first training camp practice of the year kickoff, and I'm going to try to catch as many as I can through the process of training camp if they're open to the public. So get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, man. Is this list accurate, man? Or are some guys out there I left out that you think might have something to prove, man? Let me know, man. So, man, if you haven't seen my latest video, man, go check out Trevor Lawrence, man, his video. How people writing them off, man. You see at number 629. That video will be up there at the top. It's your boy Joe. I'm out. Peace.